good to do. All right, what's going on, folks? How's everybody doing? It is 8 o'clock the day before. On. Oh gosh, my flashlight's on. The day before Thanksgiving. If 6 people show up, I'll be happy. John, good to see you, buddy. Happy Thanksgiving. Mike, happy Thanksgiving to you, man. Who else we got coming? All right, if you're just showing up, throw a hello up there. I'm sure everybody is getting, thank you, John. We're going to be doing some eating tomorrow. I'm trying to go work out in the morning. The gym's open, so we're going to go try to work out.
Well, apparently someone doesn't have to cook, so he has time to work out.
You're going to work out with me. All right, folks. So our special guest that we're going to have tonight, he actually, him and his family got sick, so he called in sick. We will reschedule him.
Yeah, he called in today, so we didn't have time to.
Yeah, and not a big deal. We will reschedule him. So you guys just get us tonight, which it better be enough. That's all I got to say. Better be enough. And I'm going to change things up a little bit. Number one, we're going to keep things, it's late already. But on top of that, what I really want to do is just kind of open up the floor to anybody and just kind of hit some questions. We can go into depth on as many topics as you guys would like, and be happy to do that. Spent all day today filming. We have I'm trying to think about when I will release that video. Did a video comparison of the Thunder Beast Arms Ultra 7, the Ultra 9, and the 338 Ultra. I think you guys will find that I found it interesting. I think you guys will too. Just seeing the real world comparison between those three as far as overall suppression and the differences between those two. I get a lot of questions on the Ultra 7 versus the Ultra 9. And it was really a question that I had too, hey, which one do I want to buy? Is the Ultra 7 enough? Does it give enough sound suppression to make it worth it versus the Ultra 9? And I think you guys will find what I thought on that pretty interesting and just kind of real world results. Also, the 338 Ultra, that thing is a cool can to have. That's for sure. All right.
Long Range Lefty says he's moving his camper to Virginia tomorrow. Are you trying to come get some caramel cake at our house?
Nice.
John, I did put my foot down today. Get the guns out of the dining room. But then I was making a cake and there's like a gun chassis and a wrench and a mat and all that laying on the kitchen counter. And I'm like, whatever.
We're slowly turning the kitchen into another gun shop. That's for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, John, we got to get you out of New York, man.
You like freedom too much to belong in New York.
You're not a New Yorker
No.
At heart. All right, so again, we got a lot of different things coming up, a lot of different things in the works. Some of these things I've talked about, some I haven't. But again, what I want to do is just kind of open up the floor to talk about whatever you guys would like to talk about. Any questions about long range, about suppressors, about optics, about whatever. So, again, we're opening the floor up to that. You guys are going to kind of lead the discussion.
Christmas gift ideas.
Christmas
you guys
gift
have any
ideas.
Questions about that?
The other thing that I know, John, you've sent me some. The other thing I'd like to hear from you guys is some video ideas. I have probably about 10 videos that I have lined up that I plan on making. But I always am looking for something new and interesting. And while I have those kind of lined up, if I get something that really tickles my fancy, I will throw that in the mix. Because again, it's always come down to the videos that I think that I want to do, or I think that people want. And then there's the, truth on the ground type of thing. So always interested to hear from that. Long Range Lefty, where are you living right now? And where are you moving from to Virginia, I guess we should say?
I don't know if he's joking
I don't know either.
or if he's serious. He'll let us know.
He might be serious.
Or maybe he left.
Or maybe he left.
Maybe long range lefty left.
He actually was out there moving his trailer right now. He's getting it ready.
He's
so he can
loading
move
it
in
up.
the morning.
Mike says, Mike's starting us off with the questions here. He says, did you find that using the suppressor on the long gun is worth it in what you lose in decreased recoil over a break?
Yeah, so there's no question about that you definitely, if you're looking for recoil reduction, the brake is the way to go each and every time. So, I don't know, Mike. I think honestly, and I think the reality is if you're going to be shooting a bunch, whether a course or a match or something like that, you're going to end up needing to use Ear Pro anyhow. So I think, and I'm trying to actually came up while I was actually thinking about this today. I'm actually thinking about having a device built where I can basically fast swap and that can time and swap a suppressor and a brake because I'll tell you, the MPA brake compared to the compact brake or almost any other brake that you're going to find that is compatible with a suppressor is not nearly as good. It's a huge compromise of a brake.
So the one for the suppressor?
Yeah. So like whether we're talking about dead air brakes, silencer co brakes, those are okay brakes, but they're nothing like that MPA brake. That MPA brake, and I'm sure other ones out there too, but I'll tell you, out of all the brakes that I've used, that MPA brake is the most impressive by far. So there's that. Dan says, well, and I'll finish answering your question, Mike. I'm not sure. I think there'll be times when you want to use a suppressor. I think generally speaking, I'm happy using just a brake. All right. So thinking of SBR and 5.56 Express minimum barrel length. Well, I mean, that's up to you. And there's some, I think, that.
Is that question meaning minimum barrel length
for suppressor
to work properly?
So dead air, I think we'll do a 6-inch, the dead air Sandman. That's exactly what I got for that rifle back there. That's essentially my home defense gun. That's a 6-inch barrel. And then I have the suppressor underneath it. Right now I have a silencer co suppressor on there that is not rated for that barrel length. And I just have that for emergency uses because I actually had my Sandman off for repair. I had it actually come off. They fixed it. It didn't just come off. It launched like, I don't know, a good 30 feet at a course. And I think the issue is actually the brake on it. So the QD brake that is on there. So I need to switch that out. But they did fix it. No questions asked. I will say that's really what's one of the things that's great about dead air overall. So there are some suppressors out there that you can get that are down to, I think, 6 inches is the lowest. And that barrel is either a 6-inch or 7-inch. Most of them are going to state that they're rated for 10 inches. And I may end up putting a longer barrel on that. I have that brake, or I have the suppressor underneath the rail, and while it's cool looking, it's kind of a pain in the ass when you do need to do any sort of maintenance on it, because you basically have to take that entire rail off. So I may end up, changing that out and just put a 10-inch. If you go with a 10-inch, most suppressors are going to be rated for 10-inch, so it gives you definitely a much broader options when it comes to suppressors.
Chad said hello. Chad, how's it going?
Hey, Chad, what's going on, man? How are you?
Long Range Lefty said he was on the phone, not hooking up his trailer.
Don't ever take a phone call during the live stream ever again. Long Range Lefty.
Don Duncan says, happy Thanksgiving. I formed a gun trust with the contact you provided. Well, thanks, Don, for supporting Gun Trust Guru. My next steps to purchase a suppressor would be to actually purchase the suppressor. And you would need to provide a copy of that gun trust to the Class 3 dealer that you are going through, and they'll know all the next steps. any good class 3 can guide you through all the paperwork. They'll know what to do, and you just show up, purchase your suppressor, have a copy of that gun truck with you, and they can help you out from there, Don.
Don, I'm not going to get into details, but man, we really appreciate what you did.
We do.
Noah is super excited.
Yeah.
Can't thank you enough.
Yep.
We'll just leave it at that.
And there's a kind of cool backstory to that as well that maybe we'll share with you one day. Something else that happened, and then your email showed up. So anyway, it's pretty cool.
Have you tried the Hellfire match? No, but I have the Hellfire. Let's see here. Actually got a Hellfire right here. 419 3-port Hellfire. This is a good break. I like this break. Prior to using the MPA, this was one of my favorite breaks. I'll tell you, it doesn't compare to the MPA, which I have right here. Yeah. So again, one of these days I'll have to set up a rig. And I know some people have done it. I don't know. I haven't seen any testing on YouTube with the MPA brake. I know a lot of people set up all kinds of different jigs to essentially test different or compare different brakes. We'll have to come up with a system to do that. I think I got a pretty good idea of a way to do that. Not some of these silly pendulums, which I guess they make sense, but I think there's some more practical ways that show a little bit better information on it. But anyways, we'll play around with that and go with that. So the Hellfire match brake, I haven't tried that one, but
I was just going to say, I mean, I know we're constantly talking about the MPA products. And like Gary said before, we could pick any company to promote, use, sell, buy their products. But I will say every MPA brake that I've sold to a client, I've heard back from numerous clients and just how good they are and how much they enjoy it. And for a client to come back just to tell you how much they enjoy the product really says something, not to, call and complain or call an issue. They literally are just coming back and saying, oh, I really like this brake. It's good. You were right. So, just to throw that out there, I don't want people to think we're just constantly harping on MPA.
Yeah.
I mean, we could honestly pick other brands that we'd make more money on.
Yeah.
But we genuinely like the product.
And I will tell you, folks, look, I have no problem. There's lots of companies that we deal with that there's specific products in that product line that we promote. And, if I find a better brake, I'm going to sell that brake. Right. So, forget the MPA rifles. I mean, I'm just impressed with the brake itself. And again, lots of clients that have never bought a rifle from us have put these on their guns and were thoroughly impressed. So,
on different rifles, not MPA rifles.
Yeah, not even MPA rifles.
Yep.
And by the way, this is a self-timing system. You basically have a counter threaded nut on here, so it turns and then basically tighten it up, so you don't need any shims or anything like that, which is another thing I like, which is one of my favorite things about the Hellfire, the 419 Hellfire, which also has a similar system. So both of those are essentially self-timing where you don't have to use a shim system. So that's another nice thing about those. I always hate that.
I like Mark's observation here. He says, Mark, I see you're wearing all black. Elton John did that to make himself look thinner. Yep.
That's right.
I definitely need it after what arrived in the via UPS yesterday, Mark. I have been hitting that hard. So I need the black to make myself look thinner. I was at the gym this morning. I was like, man, I need to be here for about 3 more hours to work off all the chocolate I've eaten. But anyway,
Mark sent us some delicious chocolates.
He did.
And Summer
lots of delicious chocolates.
I wake up in the morning and it looks like they have been raided by a raccoon in the middle of the night.
I have been known to grab a chocolate at 2 a.m. Whatever. I'm living life.
What else we got here?
Dan says, yeah, I'm so Gucci. I'm definitely going to tuck it in. He's talking about
Clay,
the SBR.
Hit that thing with Clay. Clay, I have not tried the Magnus yet. So I don't have an opinion on that. I have today I tested the Ultra 7, the Ultra 9, and the 338 Ultra. All those were, I mean, they're amazing suppressors. They do a really good job. I'll let you watch the video to hit the.
I just realized long range lefty is Hunter. That's Hunter.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he probably is really hooking up his camper.
Nice. Going from Atlanta, getting everything ready for ELR season. Nice.
Are you really coming to Virginia?
He probably is.
Probably is. He's going to come and wait for his rifle that's supposed to be here any day.
Yeah, Chad, you got one of the MPA brakes from us, right? I think
Yeah.
so. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's John really likes the hoodie.
Yep.
Good, John. I'm glad you like that. Should keep you warm. Like Dan said on the website, it's like a hug from Gary every time you put it on. You probably
Hunter says, has anyone else had issues with the AccuTac QD mounts? Not that we've.
Which
I think you got a ARCA.
Yeah.
ARCA rail or ARCA spec one, right, Hunter? Let us know.
Well, what you can either say it here or send us an email. I don't care, either one. Let me know what issues you're having with it. But
Yeah.
I mean,
The only thing we've heard on the ARCA spec ones is people aren't throwing the QD lever open all the way, and they're having issues getting it off their ARCA rail. So
we've had several. Well, they had issues getting it on
or off, I believe, right?
No, on.
Yeah.
Like we had 3 clients that we ended up having phone calls where we had to diagnose this issue. Where
one was a video call.
So yeah, it was a video call. So on the
I'll grab one.
Yeah. So anyways, you have to throw that 180 degrees for it to open all the way. And then what people end up doing, yeah, it's cutie, or I have one somewhere. No, here they are, here. I knew I had some. They were literally on this table before the live stream. Okay, so hopefully you can see this. This works good when it's back on black. Basically, that is fully open right there. What people will often do is just open it like that, and then they can't get it on because it opens another, 2 or 3 millimeters.
So he just answered, by the way, but go ahead.
And then of course that's closed.
He says the ARCA, they slide off the front of my gun in a match.
They slide off the front of your gun. You'd probably need to, mine don't move on me, and I load them up pretty hard. I would turn, when you're adjusting this, tighten it up another, rotation or 2 or half a rotation. I load those bipods up pretty darn hard. I'm putting 25 plus pounds of pressure on that thing, and I've never had it come off. So try tightening it up.
If not, let us know.
I'm assuming you've tried that. If you're still having issues, let us know, and maybe we need to replace that one. Yeah, Mike, there's probably several people on here that, you have the Picatinny QD. That actually has a lock stop in there, so that would make sense. But on all my ARCA ones. So anyways, try tightening it another half turn. If it's not locking solid, let us know, and if we need to replace that, we'll get it replaced.
Yep.
Mark, I did. So zero compromise, folks. If you don't know, zero compromise is, here we go.
You're big time when you get spammed every time you're on.
Yes.
We're not clearly, big time, but
clearly. Anyways, so for those who don't know, Zero Compromise is a scope manufacturer. They are based out of both the U.S. and Austria. Their components are made in Austria, and they are assembled here in the U.S. for the U.S. ones. They do have some that are assembled in Austria, end up getting shipped here from time to time if they have excess there, and they have to fill orders here in the U.S. They are, they make some big claims on their engineering, their optical clarity, tracking capabilities, all of those things. So, they're saying that they're on par with Tangent Theta, which I think the cheapest scope Tangent Theta makes is like around $5,000. And Zero Compromise is not much far behind that. So I think I'm going to at least, I did talk to one of their reps yesterday. Was it yesterday or the day before?
Yesterday.
I I think I'm gonna end up getting one of their scopes and doing some testing on that. We'll do a full review on that. We were offered a dealership as well. So I'm a little bit torn because, again, I guess a little bit my thought process behind this is twofold. Number one, they are significantly more expensive than
Night Force.
Night Force. Again, I want to reserve judgment. I have a hard time believing that they're that much better than Night Force, but maybe they are. I would also the other issue that I have is they have pretty low.
Margins.
They have a huge buy-in, so we'd be looking at buying at least 10 scopes just to get the initial dealer agreement, which, you know, that's not really that big of an issue. But then to get to the highest tier of profit margin, essentially, we need to be selling 10 scopes at least a month. Their second tier, which wouldn't be that big of a deal to get into, you know, is essentially, it's not that, but again, you know, profit margins are not where we necessarily would want them. But anyways, we'll take a look at that. I definitely want to get one of their optics in hand and see if the juice is worth the squeeze. I do like the fact that they have a 36 millimeter tube on those. And again, they make some big claims on the optical clarity of that, tracking, durability, all those things. So I'd be interested to see what it is.
Yeah. I mean, anyway.
Long Range Lefty says, already changed out the mechanism, took the old one off of a different bipod.
The different bipod.
I don't know, man. What rifle are you running on there? I just don't know why. I mean, the clamping force on that is so strong. I've never, between using those on the Savage up there, the Delta 5 Pro, and the MPAs, multiples of those for sure, and then even allowing clients that have many different guns use them in courses.
Yeah,
we've never had an issue with them, so I don't know. We'd have to let
could be a faulty one, or
maybe we'll do a video call too, Hunter. We'll check it out.
I don't know what he means, but I'm pretty dumb when it comes to that stuff. So
hit that with Michael Hen. Yeah, I mean, I think they have a good reputation. We'll just have to see. Again, I don't know if kind of their minimum, their optic that is equivalent to the Night Force 5 to 25 is basically $4,000. I don't know compared to about 3,500, depending on what reticle and things that you get with. And then on top of that, their accessories are pretty expensive. I mean, I think just like a scope cover is, $70. Their mounts are around 400. So again, I love Gucci stuff as much as the next guy. And if it's worth it, I don't mind paying it, but it is what it is.
Yeah. Then the other thing for us to consider is it worth it for us to carry them as well? As a business, because when it has a lower margin, it's really hard for the small guys to even make any profit at all after all the expenses we pay. After
you pay shipping and credit card fees and things like that, I'm not going to go into the margins. That's
right.
Obviously confidential information that they shared with us in confidentiality, so that's not something to get into. But again, I'm not sure that it makes sense with us.
Yep.
We'll see.
John says, does Warthog have a holster for my M&P 2.0 you did for me? So that's the one with the...
Yes, they do.
That's the one with the red dot on it, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
I'll look. We'll
send you an email, John. And I don't think we have any of those in stock right now.
No, we don't.
But and it just depends on what you're looking for. Are you looking for outside the waistband, inside and you don't have to answer any of this, but we'll have to look at that.
Back to what we were talking about with the bipod. Hunter said it's a 338 Lapua.
Roger.
Yeah. We might just need to do a diagnostic.
Diagnostic.
Yeah. Look, guys, I've been cooking all day.
I know nobody wants to hear your excuses.
I've been cooking all day.
She's going to beat this drum. Folks, she's going to milk this.
And now here it is at my bedtime. Yes, I go to bed at like 8:30.
I'm going to hear about her cooking for the next 2 weeks. But I cooked at Thanksgiving.
Well, you're eating it for the next 2 weeks.
You're doing the bare minimum, babe.
This man is going to not eat anything tomorrow. He's going to freaking starve outside in the cold. Anyway.
All right. What other questions you guys got? What else you guys want to talk about? Hey, folks, don't forget, we do have gift cards. Give the gift of training. But obviously those gift cards are good for training. They're also good for anything on the website as well.
And they're electronic gift cards, which is really cool because you can just literally put in the code, redeem it however you want on the website. Yep. Really nice. Or we can send you out like a physical like certificate or something if you like as well.
Electronic gift card, which is actually easier anyhow. Hunter, no issues there. Bring it when you bring the MPA. We'll even take it out back and shoot it a couple times and see what we can figure out what's going on with it.
We'll have to charge you for that.
No, we won't.
I'm kidding.
Someone will try though.
Yeah.
Should pick your bones clean.
Yeah, that's me.
I'm just joking. All right. What else we got going on? For those of you just on here, I want to know.
Dan's got a good thing to add to the gift card real quick. You can also select which email you want to deliver the gift card to, which matters when you redeem it. And you can also select a date when it gets delivered. So if you want to purchase now and have it delivered on Christmas Day, that's a possibility. You can have it delivered directly to the recipient, or you can have it sent to you and then, print something out and put it underneath the tree. So you have something physical to put underneath the tree. So totally up to you. You get to choose. Good point, Dan. Thank you.
Absolutely. How many people on here, whether you, I guess I'm just trying to gauge interest, but we're looking at doing some driving courses, and these are high performance evasive driving courses that will include pitting, anti-pit maneuvers, ramming, and then eventually what I want to get to is we'll do that basic course, right? A high performance learning vehicle dynamics, taken many of these courses before, but then the next course would be where we're doing scenario based things, where we're actually you're going to do shooting. It'll be sims, right? So you'll have shoot, no shoot scenarios, carjacking scenarios. We'll actually do some mission planning where we take a vehicle and go hit a target, right? And then you'll do some high performance driving back where people will be trying to chase you, trying to pit you. You'll have a chance to pit them, so on and so forth. So those are not cheap courses. You're probably looking at about $2,000 for the weekend, but I'm trying to gauge participation on that. And I know that's not a course for everybody. And again, you can answer on here or you can send us an email and let us know what you think.
I immediately knew Dan was going to be like, heck yeah.
And I'll tell you, the real practical application to that too is again, you learn how a vehicle responds. We're going to do the skid pad. You're going to learn how to maneuver in low traction areas and things like that. Level 3 carbine, absolutely.
Yep. Will there be prerequisites for the scenario based driving training?
So that's definitely going to have we're talking pistol level 1 and level 2, advanced concealed carry, and you're going to have the med course. As far as the basic high performance evasive driving course, that will not have any prereqs whatsoever.
So just start planning, guys. If we're able to make this driving stuff happen, make sure you are lined up, getting those prereqs under your belt. That course, a more advanced course, is going to be toward the end of the year. Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
But I am looking at possibly running 1 or 2 of the evasive driving courses earlier in the year. So we'll see how that turns out. Go up to Chad Wyckoff up there. Yep, Chad. So I got it back here. It's actually sitting right there. Stand by.
We just need to not sleep ever. Both of us. That's all.
Sleeping's for the weak.
Sleeping is for the weak.
Sleeping's for the
Hey,
poor.
I heard Donald Trump only sleeps like 4 hours a day, and look at him.
I'll tell. Since we're just on a live stream, I'll tell you this. Just initial thoughts on that is I'm not seeing. I don't just the aesthetics and the features of it. I don't think quite even match up to the Delta 5 Pro. I'm going to play. I haven't played with the action and things like that. But my initial thoughts on that is that it's not quite the Delta 5 Pro, and the Delta 5 Pro is not even close to the MPA. So that's your little sneak peek into my initial thoughts on that. And that's without me testing it, shooting it, or anything like that. But again, I'm going to give it a fair shake. But just again, the feature set on there, in my mind, is lacking a little bit.
I forgot you even had that. See, what? You've desensitized me. And to the point I forgot you got that rifle.
That's right.
Every guy's dream, right? Mike says, is that an area you teach, or would you bring in someone else?
No,
referring to driving.
I'm definitely not a driving instructor. I've taken several driving courses. I wouldn't mind taking a driver instructor course. I probably could up there at the racetrack there. But no, we will have those guys that teach that all the time, teach that portion. They do not offer a course like I was just telling you about as far as something with scenario based where we're shooting. That is something that we would develop on the tactical side of that and develop those scenarios. And then we would work with them to integrate the driving as well as the scenarios into that. So we would handle the tactics part. They're going to handle the driving part, and it'll be what it is. Get the pistol courses and get a long range rifle and the LR course. Absolutely, John.
Sounds like you're going to have a busy 2023, John.
When you quit your day job. All right. So, Summer's giving me permission. April 1st.
I said sometime in April.
Let me tell you something.
Sometime in April
1st.
Okay.
So I'm going on a trip.
So you guys better keep supporting us so that we can actually live. Okay.
I'm going on a trip here very soon. And when we had a heart to heart that I was going to be quitting when I came back from that job or from that trip.
And I outlined why that was not good timing.
It'll never be good timing, but for her. I think, again, we're missing out on so many opportunities and the business development side of that. And the other part of it is it is very difficult to be into the mindset of running this business, doing these things, and then going away and then coming back. It's it makes it much, much more difficult. And no, it will not be an April Fool's joke. It's JJM.
There's other things that are personal things that go on that I have to get lined up. Okay. That's all I'm saying. So it's not just me not wanting you to quit your job.
No, I know, baby. She's being very pragmatic about it.
I'm very,
she likes security. I'm like, we'll be okay. Will you be having one of these med classes in January, February, or
Definitely.
March? Yes. Most likely. Again, I know I keep telling you guys we're going to have our training schedule out. We will. But we are planning on having a med course at the last half of January. So
usually med courses are something we can run when we're not really out shooting as well, because they're mostly indoors, and you can have them during the winter here.
Nobody wants to come and freeze and shoot.
No,
they just
no. So you really can't shoot here until April to be safe. You can.
Just most
you can be
people
on top
don't
of the
want
mountain
to.
with the trailer about to blow away at long range class, just like it was in March. But with a snow squall on top of the mountain. But that was fun. But yes, definitely med classes during those months.
While we're talking about that, folks, obviously you guys have seen we've had a couple of additional mass shootings here in the news lately. I just can't stress it enough. And I know I'm preaching to the choir, right? the importance of staying ready, being armed all the time, really dedicating the time, the effort, the energy to carrying all the time, to keeping med gear on you. This world is not getting less dangerous. There's no doubt about it. And I'm always torn. I know the media likes to sensationalize a lot of stuff. I think, murder rate in general has gone down over many years for the most part. But again, these mass shootings and things like that have increased, and definitely murder rates have dramatically increased in larger cities. So you just never know. And again, I think this is a good time of year going into the first year to really resolve to make sure that you're carrying all the time and being ready to protect yourself, your family, having the skill set, maintaining those skills, constantly developing those skills, making sure that you have some medical skills and not just think what so many people are like, I know how to put on a tourniquet. I know how to do this. Do you really? You probably don't know what you don't know. And when people come to our med courses and our gun course and everything else, they realize how ignorant they are when it comes to actual gunfighting skills. Just because you can go shoot on the range doesn't mean you can win a gunfight. Those are so vastly different that it's not even funny. So again, every time you see one of these, it should be a reminder of making sure that you're staying prepared and that you're not that guy that isn't ready to meet those challenges. You are that guy that was in the mall in Indiana or whatever, that, when things went south, he was a difference maker.
Yep.
And if you're not prepared, you're either a liability or an asset. And everybody that shows up to these podcasts, that shows up to our courses, don't be a liability, be that asset and be prepared.
Yep. Because we have quite a lot of people, and even people that are in a position of, just thinking back to this past weekend with the people in the med class, in a position of daily protecting other people.
Yeah.
And, we ran a med class for them, and all they knew were, they had a little bit of med gear that was provided to them. They had no idea what to use it, no idea what really any of it was. And this is not to be derogatory towards them. It's to stress, like, sure, anybody can go on whatever website and buy whatever med gear and say, hey, I'm good. But if you don't know what it is or how to use it or when to use it, then it's of no use at all.
And the same thing goes with carrying a gun, right? It's one thing to carry a gun. It's another thing to make sure that you've put yourself in a position and you've had the training to use that gun under stress, to be able to think tactically, to be able to do all the things that you need to do. Carrying a gun and using a gun in a gunfight is 1% of the solution. The other 99% is being able to think, move, I would say think, move, and communicate. And that is true, but not necessarily. Just being able to perform under stress and knowing that you can, and putting yourself in those environments, putting yourself in some of those scenario-based kind of culmination drills that we do that give you a glimpse at how ready or not ready you actually are in a gunfight. And I think a lot of those are very eye-opening for people that have used a gun, carried a gun, shot a gun for many, many years. They realize that there's so much more to it than they even knew. So yeah, John, there's no doubt that psychotropics definitely has a major impact on what's going on.
They just want to medicate everything.
I think that, and just the basic social norms, how kids are raised today, we're having a cumulative effect of all these negative things we've been doing.
Yep.
Go to JJM real quick. That's
no consequences to actions anymore. So
one class is not enough. The techniques change. The difference from what I learned CLS 20 years ago has changed at least 4 times what they teach today. Absolutely. And again, even, every 12 months, we have clients that come to one of our TCCC courses or TEC courses once a year, and you're going to learn something every single time. And yes, things do change. There's new equipment that comes about that changes the way you operate, the way that you do things. There's definitely, we found out CLS, just like you're talking about. I took the Combat Lifesaver course prior to going into the initial push into Iraq. And everything they taught us is what we weren't supposed to do. Flushing, when somebody's bleeding really bad, they have a traumatic injury, we were told to stick an IV in them. That was one of the priorities. And we now know that that caused hypothermia. We were flushing out all of their blood. There was a lot of bad things that we did. So anyways, everything does change. And not only that, you're going to learn everything a little bit deeper, a little bit better, and learn new techniques every time that you come to one of those courses.
John said he just got his EMT certification. Congratulations, John. I knew
job,
you were
John.
working on that. That's awesome. Alex, hello. From the one lady, apparently.
What's up, fellas and lady? And lady.
And lady.
What's going on, Alex? For those of you that did show up at the beginning, we want to wish you guys all a very good Thanksgiving. We all have a lot to be thankful for. We're in the greatest country that's ever existed. All of us are clearly not living under a bridge since, we're
Maybe they
here.
are and they're on their phone.
They may have an Obama phone. They may have an Obama phone. So that is possible. Yep. Yeah, that's a big accomplishment.
It is.
Yep.
Are you going to go for your paramedic now, John? Just curious. I don't know how that works. If you have to spend some time as an EMT before you can go for paramedic.
No, I don't think so. You can actually, I think you can go
straight through,
but I'm not 100% sure on that. And I bet some paramedic programs are different than others.
We actually have a client that started training with us at the age of 15.
Yep.
Called us up, had his mom call us, got permission to come train. His first course was a medical course with us. I think TCCC or TECC, I can't remember which. And came out at the age of 15. His mom had to drive him out, everything. It was a big deal for him to come out, or so, it felt like it to him, I'm sure. And we were more than happy to have him out. And he's just been a super motivated kid ever since. He's stayed in touch. He's come to several of our shooting courses since. The minute he was able to, I think he was 17 when he started his EMT, has now become paramedic, and was actually out with us at our last medical course this past weekend, and now wants to become an NAMT instructor. So it's pretty cool to see that progression, and just how focused and determined he's been to do that.
Yep, absolutely.
How has X been?
That's who we're talking about, Mike Xavier.
Yeah.
So that's who we're talking about. He's actually going to come do some assistant instructing for us on our med courses. We got him certified this past course. The next course, he'll do some teaching, a couple different portions of that, and get certified as an instructor. And then we'll have him on doing basically being an assistant instructor going forward when he's available and when we have courses available to him. So
Mike said, I never could beat that guy. He was a good shooter. That's for sure.
That kid lived and breathed shooting. That's all he did.
Well, everything he did, he just was determined to do it well.
Yeah.
So that was good.
He's one of those kids that has a lot of talent, but he has a lot of drive too.
Yeah.
He doesn't sit on his laurels just because he's talented. He puts in the work. There's no doubt about it.
Dan says 300 blackout SBR or 223-556 SBR. I
got the black lung. Dan, that just depends on you.
What's up?
If you want something that's quiet, 300 black is definitely the best way to go if you're going to go subsonic. That has a lot of advantages. All my SBRs are basically they're pistols. All of those are 5.56. I personally, the way that, just because of our situation, I don't want the possibility of 300 black getting mixed up with 5.56 and vice versa. We have so many training guns. We have magazines that get passed around, things like that. It's been very difficult for us to completely consolidate my personal stuff versus training equipment. So that makes the most sense for me. But if you are wanting something that's going to be quiet, you can basically get a 300 black down to hearing nothing but the action. So completely up to you. Both are great options. Just depends on if you want to You just got to be careful mixing up ammunition.
Ghost Anime is going back to the paramedic thing. He said the programs can be different. He's going straight through here for paramedic. That's good.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep. Yeah, and Ghost Anime, first of all, I don't think I've ever seen you on one of our live streams before, so welcome if this is your first time. And just so you know, we are, our company is NAEMT certified. The courses that we do offer, our med courses are,
continuing ed.
Continuing
for
ed.
you guys,
yeah. So we're one of the few companies that, private companies on the East Coast that is a certified NAEMT training site.
Josh, hello, how are you?
Josh,
I know we've conversed via email a few times.
Absolutely.
Alex says he's finally slowing down on farming and getting back in the woods.
Nice.
You fill up the freezer, I'm assuming. Mark says, was curious if you guys attend SHOT Show. I see so much new stuff there and learn a lot.
Mark, we never have. We had looked into doing a booth there one year. We may end up maybe not doing a booth, but maybe going to attend. Man, that's just such a huge logistic push.
Yeah.
For us. And honestly, that time of year we're also pretty busy. I would definitely like to go. Yeah,
and in years past we were always doing the Great American Outdoor Show here on the East Coast, and it was like the week after SHOT Show. So and even logistics on that, which is an hour and a half, 2 hours away in Pennsylvania.
10-day show.
Basically, yeah. It's 2 weekends with a week sandwiched in between, so it's 11 days. No, 9 days, sorry. Anyway, it's exhausting. The logistics for setting up that booth were, 4 or 5 days ahead of time and 2 days of packing up after. And so that kind of prevented us from going to SHOT Show and just logistically and financially. SHOT Show is a major haul, being that it's all the way out in Las Vegas. So as far as having a booth, not attending, but.
Yeah, I think it'd probably be good for us to go. Number one, it'd be fun to go. And number two, I think the biggest advantage of SHOT Show is you get to go there and make a lot of good contacts. So that's definitely something that we plan on looking into. And it's also one of those things where we start thinking about it and then we get busy throughout the year and next thing you know, it's coming on.
Honestly, it's really hard for us to leave. Everything we have going on here and it'd be me and Gary worked at everything. It like, even leaving for a long weekend is stressful because we got to coordinate so many things to be taken care of here. So leaving is hard. Leaving is really hard.
Yep.
We'll get there though.
Indeed. I'll dress Summer up in a gun bunny outfit and get her prancing around.
Well, if I don't stop eating chocolates and I don't get back in the gym.
Hey, look, gun bunnies could be fat too.
We're going to need like a real bunny costume, okay, to cover up everything.
Thick gun bunnies are a thing.
Thank goodness thickness is back in.
Devin says, I just popped in the Muzzle brakes in the market for one in Brigara B14 H market. I was just telling him about that. MPA, the BA muzzle brake by far is the best muzzle brake I've ever used. So those are on our website, Devin. You can go check those out, ParamountTactical.com. They're on the website. So I can't recommend those enough. I've been super impressed with those things.
And we have those in stock for 6.5 Creed right now.
They do. We do indeed.
So.
And like I was telling them, another great thing about this is these are essentially self-timing. This bolt, which I actually have there's two pieces here that are threaded. Basically you thread this on. The directions I believe are on the box. If not, you can look them up online or shoot us an email.
Yeah, there's a video on
very
exactly
simple how to do this. But you basically thread this on, you get it close, you back it off, and then you counter tighten these two things, and now your muzzle brake is timed and tightened up without using a bunch of different shims and things like that. So it's a great muzzle brake, and it's easy to install.
One of our instructors installed one on a client's gun right on the range. No, all he had was a wrench and no shims or anything. And
technically you need 2 wrenches, but that's
whatever. 2 wrenches. He had 2 wrenches.
Guys, if I am murdered tomorrow, you know who the culprit is. What else we got
Only
going
so
on?
you don't get any caramel cake. We're not sharing.
I'm getting some caramel cake.
Nope.
Getting some caramel cake.
Maybe
All right,
maybe
folks.
I'll eat that at 2 a.m. You won't get any.
Anybody got any other questions about gear, about guns, tactics? Anybody got any recommendations for videos? Whatever you got, send it our way. I'm gonna give you guys another 30 seconds to come up with something, and if you don't, we'll call it a night. We got any other things to put out?
Not that I can think of. I know we've mentioned this in a prior live stream, but we do have those Fix It Sticks holiday special kits on there.
Yeah.
They're really good price. And
Only got a
once
couple
they're
left.
gone, they're gone because we can't restock those. They were a holiday special. We could only purchase once. So once those are gone, they're gone. It's just a good gift idea, honestly. There's one that's, I think it's under $100 or just over $100. And then there's the Works kit, which is like the most recommended, most popular kit, but you get a lot of extras with it. So yeah.
Yep. So great gift recommendation for yourself or for others.
Here's a good question. Have you used an ankle IFAC before?
So yes, we actually sell them on our websites.
Let me grab a couple extra.
Big fan of those. And we just got in. So we are also a HSGI dealer, high-speed gear dealer. They just came out with a new one. We just got them in. I haven't tested those out. We just got a few in to try out. So typically what I'll do is I'll try them out, give one or two to some of our cadre to try out. But yes, there's one that we use quite a bit. I've used this overseas.
Well, this one, the Tac Buddy that he's about to show, holds a lot more than the
Yeah.
HSGI one. This one's a little more compact and holds less stuff.
So this is a Tac Buddy. It's a great ankle kit. You can put a lot of stuff in this. You can wear it underneath your pants, or if you're in an environment where you don't need to be more. You can be a little bit less or overtly tactical, I guess. For SWAT guys and things like this, it makes a great option if you got a bunch of stuff on your belt, or you don't have room on your belt or your plate carrier, where you're just putting this over your pant leg. Everything stays in secure. What I do like about this is that you can dress this up or down. So you could, everything that we have in a full IFAC, you can fit in this pretty easily. It does get obviously a little bit bulky when you have everything in there, but it's pretty easy to put, one tourniquet. I really like the Gen 2 SWAT soft T wide, because you can get that real thin in this, or a rat's tourniquet along with,
Chest seals,
a chest seal,
Celox.
a Celox. And that's typically at a minimum what I'll carry: one tourniquet, one Celox pack, one chest seal, and then a duct tape board. But you can even put like an extra, you can use this as an ankle holster for, it'll actually hold mags, things like that.
The other cool thing, one of our clients ended up doing, he purchased one of these at a class and came back to the next med class to refresh, and he said he had taken this, filled it with all his gear, and then he slid it down into the door of his vehicle, like in that little pocket that most vehicles have. So it laid nice and flat in there, tucked in nice and secure, but if he ever needed it, he could just grab it real quick and go. So that was a cool idea.
Yeah, and another thing, you can actually wrap this around like your seatbelt itself. If you have the seatbelt that goes down to the floor, so you can actually wrap this around a seatbelt, or wrap around a seatbelt in one of the middle slots, so that it's always there, secure, but within reach. It's not going to go flying through the vehicle.
And this is the new high-speed gear ankle.
Yeah, this is the new high-speed gear ankle pouch. Is definitely a little bit more low profile. Again, I haven't tested it. I don't even know what I can get in it, but we have a tourniquet pouch here. You got a couple other smaller pouches here. I'll have to play around to see what we have and what you can actually get in this, and then how practical it is.
Yeah. And on our website, you can purchase the Tac Buddy standalone, or you can purchase it. You can click a drop down and have it fully loaded with the gear that we recommend in that. Whereas this one, we just have it standalone right now because, like Gary said, we haven't tested and tried enough to get a good loadout to put on the website in it. So, but you can get all the gear standalone on the website as well. So,
go up to Aaron Benesh. He was talking about the Eric Cortina tuner brake.
I'm trying. There we go.
No, I haven't used that. I haven't played around with tuners. That's something that I probably will play around with. I do know there's the Eric Cortina brake, And then there's another one, I think it's made by ATS, but we actually sell them. MPA sells them. We don't have them on the website. I plan on putting them on the website, but I do like that one too, because you can actually put that on whatever brake that you want. It actually will slide behind the whatever brake or muzzle device that you're putting on there to begin with, and you can still tune that very easily. So that's another one. I haven't played around with tuners. Yeah, it's an area that I do want to play around with. I think for the most part, to me, I know they're becoming more popular and for good reason, but to me, that was always just another component or another variable, right? So, especially if you're spending a lot of time reloading, it probably isn't going to do you a lot of good. But especially if you're doing something like just buying store-bought ammo, you can get a little bit, you can tune your harmonics and tune it up to get the maximize, basically the accuracy out of that. So those are something that I'm definitely going to play with and do a little bit more reviews. JJ
says, I have an EC self-timing tuner. It's very heavy, but works as advertised.
Yep.
He also says, I value your reviews and look forward to them. The AccuTac video is very helpful. More of that, please.
Awesome. Yep. Appreciate that, man. We always appreciate the feedback, positive feedback, right? So Summer and I were just talking about this today. It's like you could have a 30-minute video and put out all this information, and then the dumb shit people will bring up, like the little things that they attach themselves to that are completely out of context of have no real meaning of the video itself. But it is just like, it's like, out of 30 minutes, you want to pull that out of there. It's so weird.
Yeah.
A good example of this, everybody has, I get a lot of comments on, I don't know if you guys watched my Arkin video, right? I end up deleting half of them, but the amount of comments I get about grinding off that plug. And for those of you who don't know, it's kind of a funny story. I was getting ready for a trip right before that video, and I ordered the mounts for that. For both, I ordered 2 mounts that were the exact same, so that everything would be equal to test the Arkin and the Night Force equally, right? So order those. Well, I get them in, and I have like 3 days to shoot and edit this video before I go on this like 6-week trip. And so I start to mount this Arkin, and I see that has the erector tube plug in there, and it wouldn't fit. Now, the only way that I could grind the mount, which by the way, those spur mounts are about $450. They're right on par as far as price goes with an Arkin. So a lot of people are like, it's a lot cheaper to grind the mount and the scope. Well, no, it actually isn't. And by the way, full transparency, I got the scope for free. So, as far as what was valuable to me, obviously the mount was as much or more valuable. Now, if I had more time, I would have just sent it back and got a higher mount where that plug would have cleared it. But I had the time that I had. I also knew that I could grind that mount off with my belt grinder over there. If I was going to grind
the plug,
I could grind the plug off and make it look nice. If I was going to grind the mount, which I don't necessarily wouldn't have had a problem doing, but my belt grinder wouldn't have done it, so I'd have been stuck with an angle grinder and just, it'd look like garbage. So if anybody was wondering why that was, and by the way, I did call Arkin and said, hey, if I grind this down, is it going to be an issue? And they said they didn't think so. And by the way, it still works. I didn't purge the scope. Everything works just fine. So it is what it is. I made the right choice. So there's that. But man, I get so many comments on that. It just drives me crazy.
Mark said free scope. Was that an Obama scope?
Pretty much.
And don't get us wrong. Like when we get sent stuff to test for free, it's not like we're like, oh, it's free. We'll just treat it however, whatever. No, we're very thankful and grateful.
It was just the best answer for that problem at the time. Given the time that I had, it was just the best solution.
Yeah, Ghost Anime, it's we always love hearing different ideas that people come back to us on different ways they've used gear, and really thinking outside the box for sure.
Yep.
says, how is the sound performance difference between the T-Back 338 and Magnus on something like a 6.5 Creedmoor that you've seen so far?
So again, I haven't shot the Magnus. The 338 is pretty impressive. Shooting, I'll be releasing that video either. I'm done editing it. I still need to do a couple of little things, but anyways, so today I shot a video comparing the 338 Ultra, the Ultra 7 and the Ultra 9. Kind of just a real world comparison, my thoughts or perceptions on how they sounded. And I'll just tell you right now, you know, I'd probably recommend out of all those price, weight, you know, the Ultra 9, I think is going to be the one that I take to the range regularly. That 338 is a great suppressor, especially if, so first of all, if you just want to know about sound suppression based on what MPA Thunder Beast says, the 338 Ultra has the greatest sound suppression of, they claim, of any suppressor on the market right now.
Really?
Yeah. So it's shooting, they say for 6.5 Creed, it's about 110, and I believe it. 110 decibels, which, you know, again, clapping is louder than that. It's pretty darn quiet. Do I think that the average person, if you don't have 338, if you're looking for, you know, that happy ground medium in there, I would probably say the Ultra 9 is the way to go. But for 338, if you have 338 or you want something that can shoot across all platforms, and have some, you know, a little bit of flexibility there, along with if you're going for maximum sound suppression, the 338 Ultra is definitely the way to go. And it is stupid light. You know, again, I have, it's about the same weight as my Sandman over here. So Dead Air Sandman. So you know, it's, and by the way, if you get the, it's basically a hard use suppressor. So it actually has the same as the Dominus, the same rating as the Dominus, if you get it with the SR, which is the secondary retention. So it's basically meets all the same specs for SOCOM as far as the different testing that they do with that, belt fed rated. Now, it's the same suppressor. The only thing is if you get the SR version, it has a secondary retention locking collar that gives it that additional rating so that when it does heat up, it's not going to fall off on you. So that's essentially the difference between the two.
Or go flying down the range.
Or go flying down the range, which sucks. Especially,
you lose cool points.
You do lose cool points, especially when you're in front of a class doing a demo. Like, watch this, guys. Launch it out there like a freaking.
They're like, did you mean to do that? I meant to do that. That was a demo of what not to do.
There was no recovering from that. Like, there you go.
Slim Jim says he's looking forward to your review. He'd be using it on a 308, a 6.5, and then later picking up a 338. So,
I mean, man, it's a freaking awesome suppressor. There's no doubt about it. Yeah, Mike was there.
Mike said it was funny. I'm sure Mike enjoyed that after the mini classes he's been to.
Yep.
Oh, I messed up there. I scrolled up too far.
Yeah, it's a pretty amazing suppressor, which again, I have it right here. Go grab that, the Dominus is right there. So,
One in the cover or out?
It's that one that has a locking collar on the bottom. Yeah. Of course, this Armageddon gear is, I have it all tightened up and it's very form fitting. Anyways, that's the Dominus right there. Pull that out.
Can you see it?
Pull that out. Again, so the only difference between, as far as the rating goes, is this locking collar. That is the BA version, which is basically a twist on to the brake adapter. So it does have a brake adapter on it.
I don't know if I can.
And it basically just twists on and locks down. Get it?
Yep.
All right. But
problem solved.
That is that. That thing is, it's a beast. There's no doubt about it, but it's stupid light. It's still extremely light compared to the size of it. But it definitely suppresses.
It's heavier. It feels heavier when you pick it up to me.
It's not heavier. But they're basically the same tube. Now that I look at that, I think they're both 1.8 inches. So these are basically the same. It's just this one's a lot longer.
What's the weight difference? Do you remember?
I mean, I don't know.
Oh.
This is 1 pound, 1 ounce. And I don't remember what this is. I think this is 12 ounces.
I guess I'll watch the video.
Yep. Yeah, this is, I think, 12.3 ounces, if I remember correctly. And this is 17.2
Oh, wow.
ounces. So still very light. Again, most suppressors, especially, a couple of years ago, it was to get even like a good suppressor was going to be over a pound. But that's a full titanium build. And again, meets all the same SOCOM ratings as their hard use suppressor, which is this one. This is for the hard use suppressor for the Dominus SR, for 5.56 all the way up to 308. Again, full auto rated. They put it through all the same firing cycles for SOCOM. And this is a suppressor that they were basically going after the SOCOM contract. I don't think they won it, but it's still a pretty amazing suppressor. What other questions we got?
Mark said, have you had any hands-on with the new Hornady 7 you can share?
No, I haven't. I'm assuming you're talking about the 7mm PRC. I have not. I did ask MPA when they were going to start chambering rifles in 7mm PRC. I haven't got an answer on that yet, so to be determined. But that will definitely be my next rifle. Will be a 2-barrel gun that is 300 PRC and 7mm PRC. So that's what it's gonna be.
Chad says reviews on night vision for the MPA bridge.
We are last live stream we talked about night vision. That's definitely something that we plan on getting into. It's again, fiscally, financially, it's a big investment, but
yeah,
pretty easy to get 1 or 2 units just to do some reviews on. But ultimately what I'd like to do is start offering courses where we provide that equipment and then can sell that equipment. So that's kind of where we want to head eventually. Juan, hola, ¿cómo está? I'm pretty much bilingual, no big deal. All right, any other questions? Gripes or complaints about I will get Jake back on here pretty soon. We can talk about, he has some pretty interesting stuff when it comes to overall human performance and what he does. I've enjoyed talking to him on the phone and via email. I'd love to have him on this live stream to talk about kind of a practical and performance based, not only a lifestyle, but some things that you can do and some of the services that he offers, and just the information that he can provide when it comes to how important it is to stay in shape. And that's definitely a big component of being ready, right? Self-defense. If you guys have never been in a fight, or you've never even did a little rolling around, you'll know how quickly you can get gassed if you don't maintain a certain level of physical fitness. It's definitely a huge component of being able to defend yourself, those around you, and your family. So definitely something to look into. Anyways, we will definitely have him back on. I think it'll be a great show. But again, folks, we really appreciate you. We're thankful for every single one of you, and we're thankful for, we have a good life. There's no complaints. I got lots of suppressors and guns. I mean, it's about as good as it gets.
That's all you can ask for.
Anyways, folks, you guys have a good Thanksgiving, and we'll talk to you again next Wednesday. We'll be here next Wednesday. We'll talk. Hey, Mike, we're thankful for you, buddy. Love you guys as well.
Yep.
All right. Y'all have fun. God bless you. Take care. Signing off.